Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH The Flame Emperor Part 89 based on novel. So let's start. Hee, Xiao Yan, aren't you afraid that the Tujia will trouble us? You actually opened your mouth like a lion just now. Mu Yingying also moved her beautiful eyes slightly, and then her slender eyebrows kept beating. Even Mu Yingying was quite disgusted by the unruly and willful character of the earth spirit just now, but if it was Mu Yingying, she would not be so eloquent. There are more than a dozen kinds of medicinal materials that are enough to refine the imperial rank, or the medicinal pills of the first rank of the emperor rank, and their value is enough to make this Tujia bleed once. However, with the background of the Tujia, this thing can still be brought out. If people don't offend me, I won't offend others. Faced with Mu Yingying's question, Xiao Yan also said something indifferent. Xiao Yan realized the truth that people do not offend me and I do not offend others from the Do Chi continent. But I didn't see it. You are actually an alchemist at the peak of the first rank emperor. Mu Yingying also laughed. It's all just a fluke. Xiao Yan also said calmly, although he didn't know why. Xiao Yan always felt that Mu Yingying was strange at this time. And this strange thing seems to be released only after he has just released his soul power, and the 1-star 3-pattern alchemist medal appeared. That? Xiao Yang, can I trouble you with one thing? The next moment, Mu Yingying seemed to have made a decision, and then she gathered up her courage and said to Xiao Yang. What's the matter? Xiao Yang also stopped and said. I need a second-grade emperor rank earthen pill. If you reach this level in the future, can you help me refine it? Mu Yingying also said earnestly. Emperor rank second rank earth pill. Xiao Yang was also surprised. Obviously, his own soul power was not able to advance to the next level, which led to Xiao Yang's stagnation of the level of alchemist at this time. Don't look at the fact that Xiao Yang was already a pharmacist at the peak of the first emperor rank, but Xiao Yang didn't have much confidence in breaking through to the second emperor rank. I promise you. After thinking for a while, Xiao Yang also agreed to Mu Yingying. After all, Mu Yingying's actions also warmed Xiao Yang's heart when they were playing the dragon formation in the Xianling Emperor Pond. Thank you. Mu Yingying also whispered softly, and then her heart suddenly became enlightened. Brother, wait for me, this medicinal pill is refined, and I will go look for you. Are you really in the underground palace of the Xianling royal family? Mu Yingying also slowly understood in her heart. Are you all right? Xiao Yang's excellent perception also found that he had just agreed to this Mu Yingying, and Mu Yingying was obviously emotionally unstable. I'm fine, I remember some bad things. Mu Yingying also said slightly. By the way, I'll give you the prescription first. I just need some herbs. I don't know if I can meet them today. Mu Yingying also said. Prescription. Xiao Yang was also very surprised when he heard this. For alchemists, the most precious things are the medicinal materials and prescriptions. And if you choose between the two, I believe many people will choose the latter. After all, a volume of precious medicine is enough for countless generations to enjoy. Mu Yingying, wait, if you give me the prescription like this, you're not afraid of me running away? Or murdering and stealing goods? Xiao Yang also asked in surprise. No, we are the senior brothers of the sect. Mu Yingying also said slowly. Just after Mu Yingying finished speaking, a silver-grey scroll also appeared from above her ring, and then slowly handed it over to Xiao Yang. This Mu Yingying is really stupid and too simple. Xiao Yang also said helplessly. The silver-grey scroll had just appeared, and an extremely large soul pressure also made Xiao Yang's body heavier invariably. Then Xiao Yang couldn't care less, Too much, and immediately put away the silver-gray scroll. If the scrolls of the second-rank Emperor rank Earth pill level are used to enter the perception with soul power now, the soul power will be damaged at light, and the heavy will fall directly. Therefore, Xiao Yan did not rashly probe the scrolls. After all, there are a lot of people here, and a bad one will cause an accident. Therefore, with Xiao Yan's vigilant personality, he will not put himself in danger. Let's go and see if there is anything else you need here. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he and Mu Yingying also walked around. After a while, the two came to the deepest part of the medicine market. This is the deepest part of the drug market. Because the flow of people here is extremely scarce, but there are undoubtedly some powerful people who can enter or set up stores here. Hey, boy, if you take out enough gold coins, then this ghost exorcism liquid can only be sold to him. A sneer also appeared. Xiao Yang and the others followed their gazes, and found that Mu Feng and a young man, with a proud face, were at the same booth at the same time, and the booth owner was also looking at the two with a playful look. Who is this? What a strong fluctuation of Do Qi. Xiao Yang also noticed from the first glance that the young man beside Mu Feng was extremely terrifying. At least the strength has reached the level of the late 5-star fighting emperor. Hey, I said, old man, there must be a first-come first-served deal in this business, right? Obviously it was me who came first. I'm optimistic that this thing has already been traded. You are immoral. Mu Feng's face also became ugly, because this ghost exorcism liquid is what he needs. So he will only be willing to buy with huge gold coins. After all, this mere pot of ghost-repelling spirit liquid was fired to the point of 4 million by this old man. He tilde this friend, you can't say that. The geographical location of our Zhuangtianshan is extremely special. The entire Zhuangtianshan, southeast, northwest, and 4 directions are the places where the entrance to the ghost world is sealed. So here, things like this ghost-repelling liquid that have miraculous effects on ghosts are also valuable. Extremely high. The man said in a gentle manner. The young man showed a gentle aura all over his body. Having said that, but under normal circumstances, this pot of ghost spirit liquid is enough for 2 million gold coins. How can it be sold at such a high price? Old man, don't sit on the ground and raise the price. Mu Feng also had a look on his face. Shen Dao. When it comes to buying and selling, it's naturally the one with the highest price. The old man from the booth also said with a smile. After all, not every stall owner is a principled person, and there are some people who are also selling high prices for their own things. Obviously they don't care what comes first. You old bastard. At the next moment, Mu Feng was also a little angry, and then angrily said to the old man in front of him, the dark blue vindictiveness all over his body slowly emerged. 4 million. I'll give you 5 million. A broad palm also instantly rested on Mu Feng's shoulder, and then a hearty voice appeared. The young man also looked over slightly, and it was a figure with a heavy ruler on his back. Why does this person have an aura that makes me quite uneasy? Strange and strange. Oh? The old man in the booth heard the words, and his eyes became hot. To put it bluntly, the ghost-repelling spirit liquid in his hand is extremely powerful against ghosts, but for those who don't know how to use it, it is undoubtedly scrap metal. So normally, as long as he can shoot 2 million, the old man will not be at all hesitant to sell. It's just that at this time, 3 waves of people have been attracted, so the old man will definitely not let go of this time to raise the price. How about 5 million? Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying also slowly came to Mu Feng's side, and then said, I will pay 6 million. The young man also said slowly. As soon as the young man finished speaking, he found Mu Yingying beside Xiao Yang. At this moment, Mu Yingying's slender eyelashes kept flashing, and with the addition of 3,000 hair strands falling down her skirt, an elegant atmosphere was also revealed. How could there be such a woman in this world? The young man also slowly said in his heart. Humph. Mu Yingying's current strength in the middle stage of the 5-star Do Emperor also noticed some of the man's fiery eyes staring at her, and she immediately snorted slightly dissatisfied. 7 million. Xiao Yang also said lightly. Xiao Yang, I don't have so many gold coins on me. Seeing that Xiao Yang continued to fight with this man, Mu Feng immediately became anxious. Don't worry, there is me. Xiao Yang also put his palm on Mu Feng's body and said. Ha ha, since that's the case, then this ghost exorcism spirit liquid is not going to compete with the others. The young man also laughed. Can we settle the bill now? Xiao Yang also turned his head when he heard the words, then stared at the old stall owner and said. It's easy to talk about. The old stall owner finished speaking, and he also exchanged the gold coins with Xiao Yang, and then Xiao Yang threw the ghost-repelling spirit liquid directly to Mu Feng. I'll give you the rest of the money later. Mu Feng also accepted it without any hesitation and said. Some people, you just have to be careful. They don't look suave. Maybe there is a beast with a good skin behind their back. Xiao Yang also said slowly, without hesitation after speaking, and then the three of them he also slowly left here and walked around. With his excellent soul power, Xiao Yang also discovered that the young man just now had tried to detect Mu Yingying no less than dozens of times, but was blocked by Xiao Yang. Yingying said. Damn it. As the three disappeared, the young man snorted coldly. The cold snort fell, and a slightly weaker flame also appeared between his eyebrows, which was fleeting. Report the prince, the is late, please calm down. The man's voice just fell, and a man wearing armor, silver-black armor covered his body. A well-trained man also appeared, and then knelt down on one knee. He put his hands together, and said to the young man. Get up. But the woman just now seemed to have a feeling that the flames in my body were quite moved. I don't know why. And this woman's beauty is enough to be called the best. After the young man finished speaking, he walked slowly away. My subordinate understands. The auction starts tomorrow, I'll act tonight. The figure in armor nodded knowingly. Don't leave the handle behind. The young man also said slowly. After the two finished speaking, they also left. Hey, interesting. One is Xuanmu, the third prince of the Xianling royal family, and the other is someone who masters the art of exorcising ghosts. It's really interesting. As the young man and Xiao Yang left home, the road to on the top, there was also a man who looked quite embarrassed. The tattered clothes on the man's body, if he didn't check carefully, might be like a beggar, but at this time, a faint wave was also emitted from the tattered beggar. Old Zhuo, this time I went to the desert area, and I hope I can help you. The old man in tattered clothes followed a handsome-looking man. His masculinity was majestic, and an aura of wealth and honor permeated the air. I said, Xianshan, you are a dignified fourth prince of the Xianling royal family, leaving the palace compound away. Why are you going to those dangerous places abruptly? The old man's eyes were also constantly swimming, and then looking around for the figures of Xuanmu and Xiao Yang, the third prince of the Xianling royal family just now. Old man, most of the royal family are flowers in the greenhouse, or the outside world is wonderful. The man who was called Xianshan, by the tattered figure in front of him also said respectfully. He, you really don't take the usual path, this kid. But you're right. Among your Xianling royal family, it's too quiet. If you have a chance, you should go to the outside world to see. Lao also laughed. This turbid old man, but now the deputy head of the Wolf Eagle Corps, has reached the level of an 8-star Do Emperor. He is also the master of the fourth prince of the Xianling royal family. It's just that in the entire Xianling royal family, only this fourth prince is the strangest. Although his cultivation talent is amazing, he has liked to explore some deep mountains and old forests since he was a child, which is different from other pampered princes. Teacher. Xianshan also said softly. I don't know why, but the three of them seem familiar. Lao Lao shook his head and didn't continue. But just now, I saw some unpleasant conflicts between your third brother's group. Elders were also said. Third brother. Hearing the words, Xianshan muttered, and his eyes softened a little. Their entire Xianling royal family has a total of 9 princes, but most of them are illiterate, motivated people, and they are the only current prince and his 3 elder brothers. So now the Xianling royal family is the only one among them, apart from the current crown prince. There are only the second Prince Xuanwu, the third Prince Xuanmu, and his fourth Prince Xianshan. Among these 3, the second Prince Xuanwu is a martial idiot. He is obsessed with practicing fighting skills and constantly improving his strength. The fourth Prince Xianshan is also very curious since childhood and does not like the constraints of the palace. Love the time outside. Therefore, only the third Prince, Xuanmu, was left, and there was some vague intention to show that these 3 princes seemed to want to compete with the current prince for the crown prince, but most of them were rumors, and there was very little evidence. But one thing is certain, the 3 princes, Xuanmu, are extremely low-key, and there are no rumors at all. Where did you get the information from? Lao Lao also said. The recruitment from the Blood Blade mercenary group. Xianshan also said slowly, his eyes were full of fiery heat, because this desert area is known as the Dead Zone. So at this time, Xianshan was also extremely looking forward to it. Blood Blade Mercenary Corps. Remember that their head is also a 7-star Do Emperor consummation level figure. The strength of this mercenary group is extremely terrifying, but it is extremely unfriendly to your Xianling royal family. When I arrange for the army, it shouldn't be difficult for the 2 of us to mix in at once. Lao Lao also said slowly. Thank you, Master. Xianshan was also overjoyed when he heard this. Let's go back first. Tomorrow is the opening day of the auction. I believe this auction will be very lively. After the old man finished speaking, he also left the medicine market. I don't know why, the breath of that person just now seemed a little familiar. But it's really strange that I can't tell you the specifics. After Xiao Yang and the other person left, Xiao Yang also spoke slowly. I feel the same way too. And I seem to have sensed something else from him. It smells like the power of flames. Mu Yingying also said with a very serious face. Forget it, let's be careful, after all, tomorrow is the day of the auction. After some thought to no avail, Xiao Yang also resolutely said. After all, this is the territory of the Xianling royal family. I believe that the person just now has some rather good backgrounds. Otherwise, with Xiao Yang's huge soul power, it can be easily explored. However, whenever Xiao Yang when using soul power to probe, there seemed to be something on the young man that blocked his probe. Let's go, it's almost the end of this medicine market, let's see if there is anything I need. Xiao Yang was also the first to speak. Bingrui soul fruit. This is a good thing. Mix some herbs and use them, crush them to make a medicinal bath, and after soaking, you can also greatly enhance your soul power. It's just that it can only be used under the power of the Emperor's soul, which restricts its value. Wow, this is Flaming Stone. I heard that this thing took hundreds of years to be soaked in the depths of magma before it took shape. Such a big piece. I am afraid it has been for thousands of years. One after another familiar names also kept saying from Xiao Yang's mouth. Out, attracted Mu Yingying and Mu Feng are quite envious. After all, this is in the depths of the medicine market, and there are many treasures of heaven and earth. Don't say that the two of them have seen each other. I'm afraid they have never heard of it. The three of them walked around constantly, with Xiao Yang, and they were quite familiar with these medicinal materials, but the three of them searched the depths of the medicine market, and couldn't find the medicinal materials they needed. They immediately shook their heads, and prepared to leave the medicine market. I actually don't have the kinds of medicinal materials I need. Mu Yingying also said with a slight sigh. Although I don't have the strength to refine the second-grade Emperor rank earthen pill, but the medicinal materials that can be collected first, what medicinal materials are you missing? Seeing this, Xiao Yang also opened his mouth to comfort. I also prepared other things, but until now there are still 3 herbs, they are respectively Heavenly Soul Human Fruit, Spiritual Essence, 10,000 Years Snow Lotus Heart. Mu Yingying also moved her lips slightly, and then spoke slowly, her voice extremely flat. Heavenly Soul Human Fruit, Spiritual Essence, 10,000 Years Snow Lotus Heart. Originally Xiao Yang asked calmly, but as Mu Yingying said softly, his jaw was probably scared off. I'll be darling. Heavenly Soul Human Fruit, this is known as a great tonic for the power of the soul. I am afraid that a person who is not mentally sane drinks this thing, and his wisdom is an increase of geometric multiples. There is a legend about the Heavenly Soul Human Fruit. It is said that the Heavenly Soul Human Fruit was originally a fruit that angels were touched by the love of human beings and gave them to humans. As long as they drink it, they can purify the mind and restore the original pure and innocent like a baby. Known as the only medicinal herbs to purify the soul. At least it has never been born in human time, because the conditions for the birth of this heavenly soul and human fruit are also extremely harsh. They must be a loving couple, both of them died, and the blood essence and soul power of the two were intercepted. Silk's hope condenses. But it is said that the angel family has special means to cultivate this thing. But if you want to find the angel family, it will undoubtedly be more difficult than going to the sky. The present is to talk about spiritual marrow fluid. Spiritual marrow fluid, known as the essence of soul power. Although the birth of this spiritual marrow liquid is not as rare as the heavenly soul human fruit, it is extremely difficult to find. Spiritual marrow fluid is a kind of liquid, but the birth of such a liquid is closely related to magical beasts. Spiritual marrow fluid is guarded by a very special kind of magical beast. The beast is called Soul Nightmare, and it is a magical beast that specializes in cultivating soul power. It's strange to say that this Soul Nightmare Warcraft and the spiritual marrow liquid are like conjoined babies. No matter where the spiritual marrow liquid is born, it will be found by the Soul Nightmare, but this demon Soul Nightmare is simply no one has seen it, no trace can be found, and the difficulty is quite high. The last medicinal ingredient, Wanyan Snow Lotus Heart. This is something that grows in the dead zone of the extremely cold land. For human beings, there are 2 kinds of places and 3 dead zones. One is the land of ice. If the power is too low, I am afraid that if some fighting immortals do not have some strength, they will not dare to go deep into the ice land rashly. The place is the desert area, and the scorching temperature will make many people stay in it forever. The effect of this thing is quite peculiar. It can keep the body of the user from decaying for a short time, and it is enough to be called a magic medicine. Xiao Yang's mind quickly reverberated with the effects of these medicinal herbs, but his heart was also extremely shocked. Although Xiao Yang had seen records of these 3 medicinal materials in the books left by his master Tuor Shagudi, the records on these medicinal materials were quite vague, and there was no clear place to explain that he possessed these things. Hey, Xiao Yang, are you all right? Mu Yingying also floated her head. Her long eyelashes kept flickering. What happened to this Xiao Yang? I just told him that the medicinal pills I need are still short of 3 herbs. So that's not the case, right? You still ask me what's wrong. Do you know what the 3 herbs you just mentioned are? Xiao Yan also forcibly held back his anger and asked Tilda, this Mu Yingying is really a good boy. Don't say that these 3 herbs are in this mysterious 3 days. I am afraid that even the Sifang continent of the entire Do Di continent is extremely difficult to collect. This Mu Yingying can still be so calm. Xiao Yang was also surprised. Although I don't know, I can vaguely feel that these 3 medicinal materials are not ordinary things, or even rare. But there's still some time. Just look for it slowly, maybe we'll meet you tomorrow. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, her eyes curved into small crescents, and she smiled slightly. Let's go back first. Xiao Yang stared at Mu Yingying, and seemed to notice that Mu Yingying looked a bit like Zuna back then, so he also said, yes. Mu Feng and Mu Yingying responded at the same time, then left the medicine market, and went back to the inn where they lived. It's really strange that the medicinal materials that Mu Yingying needs are some kind of soul power. Mu Feng also muttered in a low voice. It's just that with the departure of several people, the 3 of them didn't find out. Behind them, a figure hidden in the shadows was following them. That figure, covered in black clothes, perfectly concealed itself in the darkness, only revealing a pair of straight eyes, and the colorless pupils seemed deadly silent. You're back. The 3 of Xiao Yang didn't encounter any changes along the way, and then came to the inn. Just as they were about to return to their respective residences, Elder Zhu appeared in front of everyone. Old Bamboo. Seeing this, the 3 of them also respectfully said slowly. Did you encounter any strange things in the medicine market? Zhu Lao also asked. Reporting to Elder Zhu, the kid has reached an agreement with a stall owner in the medicine market. Maybe after this auction ends, they will go with them to the desert in the desert of death. Xiao Yang also, the dark brown pupils turned tightly, staring at Zhu Lao, not knowing that Zhu Lao would let him go. Ha ha, that's fine. It just so happens that those boys are coming too. Let's go together when the time comes. Elder Zhu also said with a smile. Thank you, Elder Zhu. Xiao Yang also breathed a sigh of relief. Because what Xiao Yang is most afraid of is that this old Zhu will not let him go. The medicinal pills needed to conquer Xingyang are still short of 2 medicinal materials. I am afraid it will be difficult to find them in the auction of Xian Santian, so Xiao Yang can only go out and try his luck. Don't be suspicious. Although our Fenxiang Pavilion is a sect, we are not so strict with the disciples within the sect. Good jade still needs to be carefully polished. The sect is a sect after all. It is also a very good thing for you to go out to experience. Elder Zhu also saw Mu Feng's doubts and said, yes. Several people responded softly. By the way, who are you collaborating with this time? Zhu Lao also asked after breaking through. It seems to be called the Blood Blade Mercenary Corps. Xiao Yang also remembered that the stall owner mentioned it a little, but he didn't pay too much attention at that time. Blood Blade Mercenary Corps. That's right. I can do my thing if you think about it this way. Elder Zhu also laughed. It's not too early, you rest early. Tomorrow, I'll show you the auction of this 3 days of Zhenshuan. After Zhu Lao finished speaking, he disappeared from the sight of the 3 people. The 3 of them also laughed bitterly when they heard the words, and then went back to their own rooms. Mu Yingying. After Mu Feng returned, Xiao Yang also stopped Mu Yingying, who was about to go back to her room. What's wrong? Mu Yingying's beautiful eyes moved, and then a hand was placed on the door of the room. She turned her head slightly tired and said to Xiao Yang, be careful. Although he didn't know why, but with his intuition, that he had been fighting outside for many years, Xiao Yang always felt that the Xuanmu who competed with Mu Feng for the ghost exorcism spirit seemed to be a little different. and he immediately instructed. Yes. Mu Yingying responded softly, then left the aisle and returned to her room. Oh, I hope I think too much. Xiao Yan also smiled helplessly, and then slowly walked towards his room. Squeak. He gently pushed open the door of his room and then locked it. After confirming that no one was there, Xiao Yan also walked to the table in the middle of the room and sat down. He gently lifted the tea with his left hand, poured out a cup of tea, took a sip, and then put down the ancient ruler of eternal fire behind him. Xiao Yang, there are quite a few very obscure auras here, even I can't do what I want. The ancient ruler of Yi Huaheng had just fallen off, and Long Yi also appeared out of thin air, and then slowly and solemnly said to Xiao Yang. If the Golden Dragon King retreats, the life and death of Xiao Yang is also handed over to Long Yi. So during the period when the Golden Dragon King is out of the customs, Long Yi will not let Xiao Yang have an accident. After all, he and the Golden Dragon King are also in Xiao Yang. On Yang, once Xiao Yang had an accident, their consequences would be unimaginable. Xiao Yang had already set up a soul barrier around his room. The huge soul power filled the entire room, and most people could not find it, so Xiao Yang was not worried at all. Oh, Long Yi, do you even feel the vague aura of fear? Xiao Yang was also surprised. He vaguely knew that this Long Yi was a genuine fighting immortal powerhouse during his lifetime, and he was also of the dragon race. Although the blood of the dragon race in his body was extremely thin, he was indeed of the dragon race. The creatures in the dragon family are born as representatives of strength, so few people with the same level of power can match. I can't say the same. After all, I was deprived of my body by those 3 humans, and I was imprisoned for thousands of years. My current strength is probably only the strength of the 7-star Do Emperor. Long Yi saw Xiao Yang's bad behavior, laughing, and immediately defended. It can make you feel a very obscure aura, so its strength is at least the powerhouse of the 8-star Do Emperor level. TSK, an 8-star Do Di level powerhouse. This character, who used to see the dragon, but not the end, has come here one after another. Tomorrow's auction should be very exciting. Xiao Yang finished speaking, without hesitation. He quietly took out the yellowed tattered scroll from Daobao today. What is this? Long Yi also slowly echoed the past, turning into a 1-foot miniature dragon, and standing on Xiao Yang's shoulder. The pale yellow tattered scroll was just taken out, and the whole room was filled with an inexplicable force. Cough, cough, cough. What a strong mental pressure. The next moment, Xiao Yang took out the pale yellow tattered scroll and slowly laid it flat on the table. An extremely huge mental pressure also erupted suddenly. An invisible mental wave also emerged from the pale yellow scroll on the table. Humph! Xiao Yang also snorted coldly, and then the core inscription of divine movement in his body also appeared instantly, and then slowly stood in the room directly. With the appearance of the core inscription of the divine movement, Xiao Yang also felt that the pale yellow scroll in front of him became quiet, just like a child who was playing and saw his parents. What exactly is in this scroll? It can actually make the core inscriptions of the divine movement in the Ni Gong Wan, in my body emit such a hot breath. Xiao Yang also said slowly, and then stimulated the mental power in the body, slowing down. Slowly controlled the core inscription of the divine movement life, and suspended it in front of him. After doing all this, the pale yellow tattered scroll also became quiet, and Xiao Yang was relieved, and then a sudden burst of soul power emerged, attacking the tattered scroll. The soul force just touched the tattered scroll, and Xiao Yang felt as if he had touched an indestructible rock. Even if Xiao Yang was allowed to increase his soul power, this tattered scroll would remain motionless. Seeing this, Xiao Yang also withdrew his soul power, and immediately frowned. a milky white flame of dough chi spread out instantly. Then go to the pale yellow tattered scroll. Boom boom boom. Combining Xiao Yan's 23 kinds of different fire powers, he violently surrounded the tattered scroll, and the raging fire also burned suddenly. Time passed by, and the burning continued for about 10 minutes, and the tattered scroll remained motionless. His grandma's, "What the is this?" Xiao Yan also withdrew his grudge and then thought. Following Xiao Yan's withdrawal, the core inscription of the divine movement in the mid-air in the room also emitted a very faint light. This video will end here.